Alan Watts' Truth: Why Living with No Goal is Your Ultimate Freedom. Have you ever had the feeling that you're sprinting through life without knowing why you're running or where you're going, only to realize the finish line keeps moving further away? You wake up, you chase goals, you tick boxes, you optimize your time, you set intentions, and you achieve sometimes. But even when you do, there's this strange emptiness that creeps in. A voice in the silence that asks, "Was that it?" And you push that voice away because it's inconvenient. Because we've been raised on a cultural diet of goals, milestones, and the myth that meaning is something you reach out there in the future if only you work hard enough, suffer long enough, and achieve big enough. But Alan Watts, the philosopher who saw through the illusion of modern life like a mirror cutting through fog, offers us a radical alternative. He says, "You're not here to arrive. You're here to dance. You're not here to get somewhere. You're here to be." And the more you try to live life like a journey with a goal at the end, the more you miss the entire point.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Because life is not a journey with a destination. It's a play, a song, a game. And the moment you treat it like a task to be completed, you've already lost the plot. Think about it. No one listens to a symphony hoping it will end quickly. No one dances just to get to the other side of the room. We do these things because they are beautiful in themselves. The point is the act, the moment, the now. So why don't we live like that? Why don't we treat life like a dance instead of a deadline? Because we've been hypnotized. Hypnotized by a society that values productivity over presence, by systems that reward obedience over wonder, or by cultures that measure life in achievements, not aliveness. And so we chase, we grind, we race toward retirement, toward success, toward enlightenment, even as if these were places you could arrive at and finally rest. But Watts says that's the very illusion that's killing our joy. He tells us that true freedom begins when we stop living life like a means to an end, when we stop needing a reason to justify our being, and when we finally allow ourselves to live with no goal at all. Let that sink in. What would it mean to live with no goal? Not irresponsibly, not passively, but freely, presently, truthfully. Imagine waking up and not needing to prove anything, not needing to chase anything, not needing to fix yourself because you were never broken. Imagine moving through your day not because you have to, but because you get to. Because there's music playing and you're part of it. This is what Watts points us toward, the realization that life is not a problem to be solved, but an experience to be lived. The minute you try to manipulate it into a ladder to climb, you step out of the dance. You disconnect from the rhythm, you forget the music. And that's when anxiety creeps in. That's when the existential dread wakes you up at 3 a.m. Because your soul knows what your mind tries to deny, that the more you treat life like a machine, the more you become one. But you're not a machine. You're not a productivity algorithm. You're a mystery, a miracle, a moment of consciousness surfing the wave of existence. And you don't need a reason to justify your ride. You are the reason. You are the dance. So let me ask you something most people never dare to ask themselves. What if you stopped trying to get somewhere? Who would you be if today wasn't a stepping stone to tomorrow, but a complete experience on its own? Sit with that. Let it move through you. Because if you're like most people, your mind will resist it. It will panic. It will say, But if I have no goal, I'll waste my life. I'll drift. I'll decay. But that's only because you've been trained to believe that value comes from movement, from urgency, from progress. But Watts flips the script. He says that when we stop chasing, we start seeing. We start listening to the world instead of trying to control it. We start playing again. And in that play, we find something we've been craving all along: freedom. Not the freedom to do anything, the freedom to be nothing, to be no one, to need nothing but this moment. It sounds terrifying at first, doesn't it? Because we've built our identities around our goals. We say, I am my ambition. I am my success. I am my title, my followers, my dreams. But what happens when the dream is gone? What happens when the title fades? Who are you without something to chase? That's the heart of the question. That's where the fear lives. And that's why most people never go there. But if you do, if you dare to step into the void where there is no goal, only being, you'll discover something astonishing: that you are still here, that you are still complete, that you are still you. And maybe for the first time, you'll feel at peace. Because peace doesn't come from arrival. It comes from return to presence, to simplicity, to the truth that you were never supposed to be anyone but yourself. And this, ironically, is where the real power lives. Because when you stop chasing, you become available to life, to creativity, to intuition, to joy that isn't purchased with suffering, to love that isn't earned through performance. When you live with no goal, you become like a tree rooted, alive, growing in all directions, not just upward. You become like a river flowing, changing, ungraspable. You become like music expressing, not explaining. And don't misunderstand this. Living with no goal doesn't mean you don't act. It means you act without attachment. You move without obsession. You choose without anxiety. You do things not to get somewhere, but because doing them is the meaning. You write for the love of writing. You walk for the love of walking. You love for the sake of loving. This is what Watts meant when he said that the destination of life is not to arrive, but to arrive now, over and over again. Every moment is the destination. Every breath is the arrival. Every experience is the point. And when you get this not just in your mind, but in your bones, everything changes. You stop postponing your joy. You stop waiting for permission. You stop needing to explain your presence. You simply are. And in that being, you become contagious, peaceful, magnetic. Because nothing is more attractive than someone who is free from the need to be anything other than what they are. So here's the real question you must ask yourself. Are you willing to let go of the chase, even if it means losing the identity you built around it? Are you willing to live like a song instead of a schedule? Are you willing to trust that your life has meaning, even if it doesn't have a measurable goal? It won't be easy. You'll feel the pull to go back, to chase again, to justify your existence with results. But you'll also feel something else, something quieter. Now that we've cracked the illusion, now that you've seen how the chase for goals, for titles, for outcomes, for some elusive finish line was never the point, the real question becomes, how do we live this truth day to day in a world that tells us the opposite every step of the way? How do we stay rooted in freedom when everything around us screams for structure, for targets, for measurable progress? How do we retain the essence of Alan Watts' wisdom, not just in moments of clarity, but in the chaos of modern life, when the emails don't stop, the deadlines never end, and the mind keeps whispering, "You're falling behind"? Because let's be honest, we want this freedom, this peace, this dance through life, but we've been so conditioned to measure our worth by what we produce, by what we achieve, that even when we try to let go, we end up turning letting go into another goal. And that's exactly why Watts warned that the very effort to stop striving becomes its own form of striving. It's a trap. The ego wants to co-opt everything, even surrender. So how do we escape this loop? How do we live without goals, without turning that into a new identity, a new thing to perfect? The answer is not in doing, but in being. It's not about having no structure. It's about living from a place where structure is responsive, not oppressive. It's about moving from the inside out. It's about learning to trust the moment, not as a spiritual cliche, but as a lived, embodied experience. Because here's what no one tells you: when you stop living for a future destination, the quality of your present actions changes. You stop rushing through the mundane. You stop treating tasks as obstacles. You start to see how even the simplest things, washing dishes, walking to the store, sitting in silence, can be infused with presence, with awareness, with joy. You start to live like a monk in the middle of the city, and people will notice. They'll feel something different about you. Because in a world addicted to urgency, presence is power. Stillness is magnetic. And the more you live this way, the more you realize that life takes care of itself when you stop trying to dominate it. You don't need to control the river. You just need to stop thrashing, let go, and the current carries you not to where you think you should be, but to where you actually belong. But this isn't passive. It's the most active surrender there is. It requires you to be awake, to feel, to respond rather than react, to listen to life like it's speaking to you, not yelling at you. And that means you have to slow down not your pace, but your mind. You have to get off autopilot. You have to stop living in someday. Because someday doesn't exist. Only now does. And the more you learn to live here, the more life opens up. Not in a flashy, Instagrammable way, but in a deep, quiet, soul-level kind of way. You begin to feel a sense of clarity not because you know what's coming next, but because you don't need to. You begin to feel a sense of joy not because everything is perfect, but because you've stopped demanding perfection. You begin to feel a sense of strength, not the kind that comes from effort, but the kind that comes from alignment. The kind that says, I am not chasing anything, and yet everything I need comes to me. That is the paradox of a goal-less life. It is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is not laziness. It is flow. It is not giving up. It is waking up. But it takes courage. Because the world will keep pulling at you. It will keep trying to seduce you back into the race. It will say, if you're not striving, you're wasting your potential. It will say, if you're not building something, you're falling behind. And in those moments, you must ask yourself, behind what? Behind who? What is this measuring stick, and who made it? Why does your worth need to be proven by your productivity? Who benefits from your endless striving? These are not rhetorical questions. These are the keys to your freedom. Because once you realize that the game is rigged, that the finish line is a mirage, you stop running. And when you stop running, you start seeing. You see people. You see yourself. You see that most of the suffering in your life hasn't come from failure, it's come from the fear of not succeeding. It's come from the inner war between who you are and who you think you should be. And when you drop the should, you begin to live, not drift. Live, because a life without goals isn't a life without direction. It's a life without attachment. It's a life where you still act, still move, still create, but out of joy, out of alignment, out of curiosity, not pressure. You become like a child again, not naive, but clear. Not aimless, but alive. You begin to trust your intuition more than your calendar. You begin to follow energy, not expectation. And somehow, without needing to, your life becomes more meaningful, more creative, more real. Because now your actions are coming from presence, not panic. From soul, not strategy. From love, not lack. And slowly, the world begins to meet you there. Opportunities come not because you chased them, but because you became available to them. Relationships deepen not because you performed, but because you showed up fully. Peace returns not because you escaped chaos, but because you stopped resisting it. That's the art of staying free. It's not something you master once. It's something you practice every day. Every moment is a choice, goal or grace, striving or surrender, illusion or presence. Which will you choose? Because here's the truth, you don't need a 5-year plan to be fulfilled. You don't need a personal brand to be valuable. You don't need to monetize your passion to make it real. You just need to be here, fully, freely, fiercely. And that's not easy, but it's worth everything. Because when you live like this, you become untouchable, not because nothing affects you, but because nothing owns you. You're not terrified of uncertainty anymore. You're not obsessed with outcomes. You're not addicted to control. You're just alive. And that's what Watts was trying to tell us all along. That the moment you stop trying to get somewhere, you realize you've already arrived. That the moment you drop your goals, you pick up your freedom. That the moment you stop chasing meaning, you become it. So don't wait. Don't wait for the perfect moment to let go. Don't wait until you're older or richer or smarter. The moment is already here. It's always been here. Right now, in this breath, in this body, in this beat of your heart, is everything you've ever been looking for. And it's not a goal. It's a gift. So open it. Live it. Dance with it. Because when you finally stop running, you'll hear something you didn't even know you were missing. The sound of your own soul, laughing, singing, whispering. Welcome back. You were never lost. You were just chasing shadows. And now you are free.